Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. My name is Vineet. The National Testing Agency has rejected allegations that a NEET undergraduate 2026 candidate's OMR answer sheet was interchanged during the June 21, re-examination, saying a forensic examination found that the document circulating on social media was a fabricated AI-generated version of the candidate's genuine answer sheet. According to the NTA, the original OMR sheet carried the candidate's correct details, signature and thumb impression and was evaluated through the prescribed process. The agency said that the viral image retained the same barcode, test booklet number and answer markings as the original, but only the identity fields had been digitally altered. It also pointed to multiple signs of AI or OCR-based document manipulation, including distorted text, typographical errors and an unnatural thumb impression. The NTA maintains there was no mix-up of answer sheets and they have shared their findings with the complainant and say it is prepared to take legal action if fake or AI-generated documents are used to mislead or influence the examination process. We'll talk about this with our guests. Joining us on the platform at this point in time is Bipin Kumar Singh, NEET student. His estimated score is 672. Final score only 4. We're going to speak to him and get a context first. Gurmukh Singh Arora, advocate of the Supreme Court, with us on the program. Mr. Satyajit Datta, Senior Vice President, Business Development, Innovative View Limited, is also joining us on the program. Sakshar Duggal, cyber expert, and last but by no means least, Advocate Vineet Jindal, education activist. He's also set to file a petition against the NTA regarding the score mismatch. So obviously another problem coming in for the NTA. The NEET re-examination was held. In fact, the Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan also met one of the toppers. But I'm going to open the show with Bipin Kumar and understand. Bipin, if you can hear me, thank you for speaking with us. Vipin, can you hear me? Please respond.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
All right, Vipin, tell me, what is your predicament? What happened in your case? I hear that, there are two contrasting results with you.
सर सबसे पहले मैं स्टार्टिंग से शुरू करना चाहूँगा।
जी, फरमाइए।
जी, जब 21 जून को हमारा ये एग्ज़ाम था रीनीट का, 21 जून को एग्ज़ाम था। उसके बाद जब मैं ऑफिशियल आंसर की आती है नीट की, तो उसमें मैंने मैच किया तो 680 बन रहे थे ऑफिशियल आंसर की से। फिर जब OMR शीट आती है वेबसाइट पे नीट की, तो उसमें मैंने मैच किया तो 672 बन रहे थे, क्योंकि मेरे 2 बबल जो थे वो मुझे शायद लगा कि इंक जो उसकी बाहर हो रखी है, तो 2 ये आंसर ये नहीं माने जाएंगे, तो 672 थी। और उसमें क्या हुआ सर, डाउनलोड करने का ऑप्शन नहीं रहता है OMR का। स्क्रीनशॉट आप ले सकते हैं, बट मैंने स्क्रीनशॉट नहीं लिया कि वो वेबसाइट पर रहेगी, जीमेल पे आती है ना, मैंने मुझको नहीं दिखा। फिर जब 16 जुलाई को जब रिज़ल्ट आता है नीट का, रात को 10:30 बजे के करीबन, तो मेरा ट्राई किया हमने ओपन करने का, ओपन नहीं हुआ। लगभग 26 घंटे के बाद, अगले दिन 26 घंटे के बाद मेरा रिज़ल्ट ओपन हुआ। 26 घंटे का रिज़ल्ट ओपन हुआ तो उसमें आता क्या है, 4 मार्क्स है। और इसके रिगार्डिंग फिर मैंने रात भर NTA को कॉल लगाया, उसके जो हेल्प डेस्क नंबर होते हैं वगैरह, तो उस पर वो कह रहे हैं कि आपको ईमेल करिए, वो ये करिए, वो करिए। तो मतलब ये सब सारी बातें हैं।
अभी क्या स्थिति है आपकी दुविधा को लेकर? क्या आपको किसी तरीके का निवारण मिला है? आपको किसी तरह का सोल्यूशन मिला है NTA द्वारा?
सोल्यूशन नहीं मिला है, कुछ नहीं मिला है। मैंने 4 से 5 ईमेल भी किया है NTA को। नीट के जो प्लेटफॉर्म होते हैं एजुकेशन में, मुझे कोई रिप्लाई नहीं आया सर, कुछ नहीं आया है।
क्या आप अकेले ही हैं इस दुविधा में या आपके साथ कोई और भी हैं?
सर मेरे ऐसे जानकारी में तो नहीं है, बट सोशल मीडिया पे आप देख सकते हो, मैंने कितना देखा है, बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं सर, बहुत सारे बच्चे हैं।
और NTA का पूरी संस्था का अभी रवैया आपकी परेशानी को लेकर क्या रहा है?
रवैया है सर कि NTA बच्चों को ही धमका रहा है कि आप अगर कोई OMR देते हो, हमारे ऊपर क्वेश्चन करोगे तो आप ही के ऊपर सख्त कार्रवाई की जाएगी। ये रवैया है सर NTA का। जैसे कि आप कल रात को ट्वीट किया NTA ने कि जो कंप्लेन कर रहे हैं उन्हीं पे सख्त लीगल एक्शन लिया जाएगा। ये रवैया है सर।
अब आगे क्या करेंगे आप विपिन?
आगे सर अभी तो मैंने ईमेल कर रखा है, उस पर कोई रिस्पांस नहीं आता है, तो फिर मुझे दिल्ली के जो NTA ऑफिस है वहाँ जाऊँगा सर, वहाँ अपनी बात को रखूँगा।
चलिए आप बने रहिए हमारे साथ। हमारे पास बहुत सारे विशेषज्ञ भी हैं, इनकी बातचीत सुनकर हो सकता है आपकी दुविधा का निवारण भी हो जाए। आई वांट टू ब्रिंग इन सत्यजीत इनटू दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन एज वेल.
थैंक यू सर।
Satyajit, appreciate you being here and thank you for taking out the time on a Sunday and speaking to us. This was an important cause and that's why it was imperative that you be here. You've heard what the student has gone through. We've already seen the kind of, for the lack of a better word, the troubles that have come about with the NEET examination being cancelled in May and then the re-NEET and now this mix-up of results. How do you think this, something like this, something so sensitive, can be resolved or perhaps not even be there if there are technological resolutions to this?
Hey, good evening, Vineet, and good evening, all my fellow speakers. See, we currently have an issue which must be viewed with balance. I'm being very clear. Why? Because there are two different questions right now before us, Vineet. First of all, there might be a candidate who submitted an AI generated or a manipulated OMR sheet. Okay, there might be. And they claiming it to be an original document. And if that is established, through investigation, yes, it is a very serious criminal offense. And I have other speakers who might speak better on this topic. However, such acts, if at all being done by some miscreants, will mislead the authorities, not only weaken the credibility, and they will also weaken the credibility of genuine grievances. Okay, so we need to also be very careful that though these fabricated complaints might be there, but every complaint of every single candidate might not be fabricated. So every representation made by a candidate, first of all, deserves to be examined, objectively, thoroughly, transparently, and on the basis of verifiable evidence. So the real issue, if I say, is trust in the examination system. And we could see this right from the time the first NEET examination had to get cancelled. So there is a trust issue or a trust deficit in that examination system. Now, when more than 20 lakhs people or more than 2 million people are appearing for such an examination, the system has to be secure. The system has to be transparent and independently verifiable. Okay, so when I say it's very simply put that if I have security without transparency, it creates suspicion. However, on the other hand, if I have transparency without security, that creates vulnerability. So both of them has to coexist. Okay, and we all understand that artificial intelligence, Vineet, is a double-edged sword. I understand it can be misused to create false documents, but the same AI can be deployed by examination authorities to detect, if there is any image manipulation or if there is any document tampering or any, digital forgeries being done. So this, controversy, the entire controversy that we are into today should become an opportunity for reform, I would say, Vineet. The government has already announced that NEET UG from next year onwards will be moving into a CBT mode, a computer-based testing mode, which is definitely a welcome step, and a robust CBT ecosystem, which will significantly reduce risks associated with paper printing, transportation, storage, OMR handling. All this will not exist at all in that CBT mode. However, we need to remember that when we are taking that step, which we have already announced and we have already agreed as a country, we need to have that permanent, dedicated, secure, standalone, exclusive CBT infrastructure made available in the country to actually welcome that reform that has already been announced.
You're absolutely right, Satyajit, and you're spot on. Gurmukh, you've heard the plight of Bipin. Does he have any legal recourse? Is he going to continue to send emails? Does the student have any kind of a right in this difficult situation? It's detrimental to his confidence. It's detrimental to his hope in the system, Gurmukh.
So, Vineet, the real question today is that one thing is definite, that there are certain pictures and images which the NTA claims to be AI generated. But one thing, another, which is actually definite, is that today our system has effectively failed to look at it, because even if today you upload a picture on Instagram, within seconds, within seconds it detects it and it tags that picture or photograph or videos as an AI generated picture. Now, if our government agency is taking so long to merely detect whether that images are AI generated or not, then one thing is definite, that students who actually expect certainty from the government are kept under suspicion. And once they are kept in suspicion, their results are under, some pothole which they never know when they will get to know it. And another fact is that it is a recent trend, when we were looking and we were all hearing that there were paper leaks, and government had failed to, definitely failed to
But
find a
Gurmukh,
solution to
the
it.
other
But the other
Gurmukh,
way is,
sorry to
other way
interject
around
you.
is,
Sorry to interject you, Gurmukh. But the other question that I have, the subset of my question is, why should the onus be on the student to prove that he's wrong?
exactly,
Or he's
you're
right.
very much right. I'm with you in this. The onus should never be on the student. That is why I am saying it is our technology, and it is the technology of the government which has deliberately failed to identify that. Because if, people in US, big companies, private companies can identify whether an image is AI generated or not in milliseconds. And whereas our country, the technology of our country is so backdated that it is taking weeks, so much time to even just identify. And once, I'll tell you, once they identify, they'll send it to forensic. And then once it's gone for forensic, then there will be another prosecution that will be launched. And when the prosecution will be launched, there would be another set of allegations, forgery, which was earlier a 467 in IPC. Now it will attract section 339 in BNS. Then whole trial will go on. But one thing is definite, that the individuals who are genuine, they will suffer. But what is the mechanism that, the government will, incorporate to the ones, and to make sure that the ones who are actually genuine, they are not affected? This is the real question that, all the genuine students wants to hear. It's obviously that no genuine student will, encourage AI generated images or not. There are miscreants in our society, and they should be definitely
Okay.
punished. But
Okay.
the ones who are genuine, they should
Let
be
me
left.
let me bring in Advocate Vineet Jindal into this conversation as well. Advocate Jindal, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, Vineet.
You know, for the re-NEET, Advocate Jindal, over 2.7 lakh candidates backed out and skipped the re-NEET, which took place just a few days ago. Now, that's a mammoth number to me. Why do you think they backed out? Was it because of their faith in the system? Did they change their mind? Why do you think that happened?
Look, Vineet, this NEET examination is not that an ordinary examination. This is very, prestigious, and the student who has been preparing for this examination, they are under pressure. They are under, a lot of pressure from different kind of thing, the social pressure, the family pressure, and everything. And I think the reason behind of backing out of more than 2 lakhs aspirant when this NEET exam has been conducted, there are two specific issues. One is the faith in the system, number one. This is very appropriate. And the other one is that the time limitation which is given during the previous NEET exam and the re-NEET, that is very less. I remember that I have written a letter to Ministry of Education also, that this is very less time to students to prepare, because they are already been in mental pressure, and they didn't get the appropriate time to give again prepare the examination, when they already been 2 months, they have been free, and they are not thinking about that, okay, something bad is happened and they are again right to give to write this exam. They didn't aware about any of the time. So I think this is the two reasons, and you are rightly said that the system has been failed in this scenario. And I must say that education system of our country is under a tremendous difficulty, because it is not only about NEET exam, it is also UG NET, it is also UGC NET, it is also CBSE. Everywhere the system has been collapsed. The education system has been collapsed. I have received several emails from different students who has been conducting this, giving this re-NEET exam, and they are putting different kinds of allegations. One of the student raised his voice because his result has not been declared. The result of the other student has been declared 2 days back, but his result has not been declared till now. So this is also one of the issue. And as you you have put forward that there are some issues like no manipulating the OMR sheet and putting on a social media. I think that is really a grave issue. I must say because the political no political issues has been involved now. The political personality has been involved in this all this issue, and that people has trying to defame the NTA and government. That is a separate issue. But as I already told in my social media and everywhere where I go to for the debate and on the news TV channels, I definitely put forward this thing that in the form of making these allegations, the right of the student should not be killed. What I seen that the NTA is specifically talking about the complaint which is filed by them for no manipulating OMR sheets.
You're
But
quite
what
right.
about the so what about the students who has been suffered
You're
because
quite
of
right,
the
sir. You're quite right. I also want to bring in Sakshar Duggal, cyber expert, into this conversation. Sakshar, what is the challenge over here? You know, computer-based technologies are taking care of a number of processes in our country. You know, I've never received my passport with the wrong spelling or a wrong address. You know, that is something that's done through computers. There are other things, you know, even for a company like Amazon or Blinkit, you know, who handle millions of orders in a day. I'm sure 99.9% of them, they get it right. It's perhaps one of those minuscule numbers that are not. They're obviously using technology to address all these logistical mammoth issue. What is the issue here? Is it the scale? I don't think it's the scale. 13 to 14 lakh students? It shouldn't be much of a problem, right?
Well, Vineet, it's not about scale, but I would say it's about priorities and having a backup systems in place. So in cybersecurity, there is this term called zero trust, where in simple terms, we say that we cannot trust anyone, whether it's a person, it's a system, it's an organization. At every single step, you need a backup, you need something in place. And I think this is a clear cut of AI menace where it was not anticipated or it was not, the priorities were not set. Because see, one thing we need to understand is that it's not just about this examination. We are in a transition phase as a society, and in every sector altogether, AI is impacting that space. We know that. But at the same time, we should know that perpetrators are sitting everywhere who want to create that panic, who want to create that chaos. And therefore, if you are as an authority, as the government, it's your sole responsibility to have those checks and balances in place so that in the near future, if something can go wrong, those things are taken care of. That's number one. Number two, transparency should be there. As Vipin also said that, as a student, obviously, it's not his sole responsibility to prove whether, this miscalculation has happened from his end or not. This blame game won't help anyone. And I would definitely agree with my co-speaker, Mr. Datta. As I said, it's a transition phase, and obviously we can't expect perfection. But at the same time, if these kind of challenges are coming in place, I think government and the respective authorities should be proactive enough. That's one. And second, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. We are living in that age and space where each and every step has to be calculated with the sense that tomorrow technology can be manipulated, because at the end we need to understand there is a massive difference between understanding technology and practically implementing it in the very system.
Okay, that private company called Skyroot sent about 6 satellites into space yesterday. And I think if that can be done as a catalyst, as an icebreaker, I think this is a very, very small problem. Satyajit, you've been very vocal about it, that computer-based testing, and something that your company also excels in, is the way forward, is the key to all of these problems that students have faced. Would you want to elaborate on that, Satyajit? How will that help?
Again, with this menace in hand, the objective is very clear, Vineet. We have to protect every honest candidate, okay? We have to thoroughly investigate every genuine grievance, okay? And as we said, that when we are in this transition phase, and if somebody is, misusing AI or technology, we have to have, technology or the same AI measures to actually, save the system, to build that trust in the system. And hence, I keep on repeating that when we will build that permanent CBT infrastructure, when we will have that AI surveillance in place, all these things, I'm not saying that we're going to just they will overnight vanish because there's a trust deficit, but that's the first step towards building again that same trust, which today, ceased to exist. So to bring back that trust, technology interventions, permanent CBT infrastructure, AI use, and as my fellow colleague said, Mr. Duggal, that it's not about only knowing technology, it is about appropriately using it and putting it into use and doing it proactively. It has to be, the integrity has to be designed in a way that it is part of the system rather than being enforced after a controversy. So we are, usually these days doing what? We are just trying to enforce something after there is a mishap or there's a controversy. We have to include it within our system. That's very, very critical.
वेल सेड सत्या। विपिन, इन सब दिग्गजों की बात सुनकर आपको किसी तरह का आश्वासन मिला? अगर आप चाहें इनमें से किसी का आप नंबर भी ले सकते हैं, और अगर आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व नहीं होती है तो हम अपनी तरफ से एज मीडिया पीपल विल ट्राई टू रिजॉल्व इट। बट क्या जो आपको सुनने को मिला उससे आपने क्या समझा?
बिल्कुल सर, इन जैसे एक्टिविस्ट के कारण ही हम जैसे बच्चों को इनका आवाज़ दूर तक नहीं पहुंच पाता है, हमारी आवाज़ आती है वहाँ तक। और अभी मैं इस प्लेटफॉर्म पे बैठा हूँ तो आप लोगों के कारण ही बैठा हूँ। तो बिल्कुल मुझे तो लगता है कि मेरी आवाज़ ऊपर तक जाएगी, मुझे सॉल्यूशन मिलेगा। जो मेरा मेन सॉल्यूशन रीज़न है सर कि मुझे मेरी OMR ही नहीं दी जा रही है अभी तक। मैं कैसे प्रूफ करूँ किसी को? जो मेरी चीज़ है, मेरी OMR है, वही मुझे नहीं दी जा रही है।
बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं आप। गुरमुख, right to education and NEET, though at this point in time NEET does not fall under the RTE or the NEP, do you think that there needs to be a reform in that direction as well, that the student can ask for his results as many times as he pleases and the authorities will have to oblige?
Ultimately, Article 21 is in the child's favor. Article 21 makes sure that he has a fundamental right to practice and profess whatever he wants to do. He wants to earn his living. The Article 21 is all by his side and it protects it. Now, number one thing, that which is the entity that has to be questioned today? Obviously, it's the Ministry of Education. Now, the most relevant way today is that, Mr. Bipin, you can always, it's not a legal advice, it's just a advice as a brother to you, that you can always write a letter to Ministry of Education, and I'll tell you, courts are there for you to help and to make sure that any particular government agency has to answer to you. Because in case they don't answer to you, there's a writ of mandamus and a which is available to you. You can always file it in your relevant honorable High Court, and you can always ask the ministry that, where is my answer sheet? Why am I not getting the result? So this is just a basic situation wherein you can approach a court and you can seek monitoring, and this is something which needs to be intervened.
All right, fair enough. I think we've received a number of important, crucial perspectives from all our guests. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, but appreciate the time everyone took to speak to us.